times prophecy that nobody wants to talk about. There are many signs of the end times that are apparent to those with the eyes to see, and usually when you try to talk about it with others, they don't want to, they shut down. They get awkward. They make excuses about how, oh, I didn't used to pay attention, or a lot of times they just shut down the conversation. They don't want to hear it. And so that's what this video is about.
Hans, there are many reasons a person would want to end a conversation with you. I don't know if the end times prophecy things are at the top of the list. Probably the fact that you think that most people on the planet are secretly either intersex or transgender is probably higher on the list than the fact that you talk about biblical end times prophecy. But hey, maybe that's just my personal bias peeking through.
This one is probably the biggest, that really nobody wants to talk about this. This is the big elephant in the room, and it's the big secret. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. And this prophecy has already been fulfilled in its end times eugenics. There's really no other way to explain it than it's been a purposeful eugenics experiment to flip everything. Everything has been flipped. Men are women, women are men. And we really see that with the free martins, which what I call free martin, maybe there's another word for it that's more accurate, but it's just learning about free martins helped me see what's going on here. They are masculinized women, and that's it. They're women born with a penis.
Hans, that's not a common thing. There are intersex individuals, but that's not what that is.
And that's why when you look outside, almost all men outside, almost all male presenting individuals outside, they have a female skeleton.
Oh god, stupid bit. I regret doing this bit. The bones! We must look at the bones. Outside, your meaty flesh might be male, but the inside of you is all woman! I want to smell the bones. I want to feel the bones.
And that's truth. And if you know human anatomy, and you know about modern day hormones and
Modern day hormones, as opposed to your daddy's hormones.
HGH, taking T, and if you know the different signs, you'll see it. You'll see it for what it is, and it's the one that nobody wants to talk about. It hits really close to home to a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that, to me, they seem like genuinely interested in the truth, genuinely follow Jesus Christ, but they won't touch this topic with a 10-foot pole because it hits a little close to home.
No, it's because it's nonsense, Hans. It's because the vast majority of people on this planet understand that your conspiracy theory about hidden, like, secret transgender people or hidden secret intersex people, it's baseless and ridiculous.
If you know what I'm talking about. And I've met a lot of people through my channel who they didn't know this about themselves, and they eventually found it out, and it makes it really awkward. And yeah, I don't know what to say, but it's the truth. So here, what I want to show, people have left this in the comments before, I've just never shown it, but I think it's worth mentioning at least once. Some of these end times prophecies are also talked about in the Quran. Now, of course, I follow Jesus Christ, so I don't support Islam.
Oh god, that's a whole topic to get into another day.
I think Muhammad is a false prophet, but that doesn't mean that everything out of Islam is going to be wrong. They're going to take some biblical ideas and make it their own. So I just wanted to show this because there is some consensus about end times signs.
Consensus.
So I'll just kind of read through this until I find which one is talking. Oh, here we go. Acceleration of time. 23. a perceptible acceleration of time when a year feels like a month like a week like a day like an hour, and an hour like the small amount of time it takes for a palm leaf to burn to ashes. The rise of idolatry. I mean, why do you think they call them idols today? People worship these celebrities, these idols. Idol worship is stronger than ever. People put posters of these things up on their walls, and it's creepy. Imitation of the young by the old. That's kind of interesting. And here's another one. So this is more talking about what I was talking about right now. So the time thing. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But
there's nothing funny about the
I like 41, An Abundance of Lies.
Daddy Sumi with 10 bits. Was that a reference to Mira Breckenridge? Was Hans scarred by the movie Mira Breckenridge? I don't know. I've never seen that movie.
Wait, where's the... Oh, here we go. 43. Abundance of women and paucity of men, to where there is a single man left for every 50 women. Yeah, it's already that bad. It's probably worse than that by now.
Evidence.
Because when you have the eyes to see the Freemartins, you'll see that men with male skeletons, the ones that match the female celebrities.
Hans, what kind of skeleton do I have? Just looking at my lovely bones. What skeleton do I have? I'm just curious.
And so here I'll just go off onto a rant. Any transvestigation channel that didn't keep making the connection and they're still stuck at the celebrities, those are gatekeepers that already knew all this stuff. How could you learn transvestigation and just stop at, oh, look at these busted MTFs, but never realize, oh, wait a minute, why are these MTFs so much more manly than the people that they pretend are men? And then you notice it's a complete inversion, and then you'll notice, hey, but wait a minute, all these guys outside, they look like...
Hans, again, if what you were saying was true, and let me be clear, it is not, at what point does an inversion, as you put it, just become the norm? Because if everyone was secretly what you consider to be the opposite gender of what they're presenting as, wouldn't that just mean that's what gender was, and you're the weirdo? Because if you're in the minority here, and you think it's the vast minority, you think you're one of the few men on the planet, then you'd be the weirdo, and we'd be the normal ones, right? Do you not understand how that works? Daddy Sume, Hannah, watch this. You'll need to watch the movie afterwards.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Daddy Sume says, never, Hannah. God made us one way, and that is always normal. That is what he's gonna say, isn't it?
You know...
If so, then why would God allow this to happen, Hans? Sounds like God kinda sucks at his job. Or is it her job now? Is the inversion affecting God?
American song?
Yes, I do. It's called Be a Crooner, not
Ugh, I like Diamanda Hagen, but the cinema snob, no thank you.
like the guy celebrities. So they look the same. They look like FTM. And if you actually go research FTMs, you'll see, oh man, they come out looking like a Disney character. They come out looking like... And you'll know people in real life that look like Disney characters. I mean, I do.
That's probably a compliment, I would think.
And it's because they're part of the system. They're inverted. They're Freemartins. They're not a natural male. So that's the biggest one.
Hans, if people are born a certain way, then that's the natural form. That's who they are. Calm down.
Nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about the Freemartins.
Because it's not a thing.
And the natural men. And I guess I'll just say here, the CIA, the nickname for the CIA is the Pickle Factory.
What? Is that a thing? Let me look this up. The Pickle Factory. CIA? Old Salt opens up the Pickle Factory. What? No one knows whether CIA spooks wind up in heaven or hell when they die, but whether they are, they must be rattling their bones in protest. Let me just find Pickle. Pickle. It was obliquely referred to as the Pickle Factory, or our friends, or across the river, or more openly, the agency. Weird. Why did they call the CIA the Pickle Factory?
And they'll tell you because it was like out of a pickle factory building or something way back when, but no, it's this.
Oh, so since he says that's not the case, it probably was the case. It was operating out of a pickle factory. That's pretty funny.
Eugenics program. The pickle factory is churning out pickles.
What?
Making women flip to have a pickle.
I don't think the CIA... First of all, that's not the CIA's, like, purpose. Why would the CIA be doing this? What would the end goal be? And also, I don't think the CIA is going to be childish enough to call themselves the Pickle Factory because they're creating, quote, women with pickles.
Think of ancient China. Think of how, I mean, even just modern day China, how they're obsessed with having boys. Well, what if you walk into a medicine shop and they say, hey, I'll give you a potion that makes sure that you have a boy?
Then they're lying. Then they're lying, Hans.
That's how free martins came about, and it's...
Hans apparently believes in Chinese traditional medicine for absolutely no reason, okay?
It's almost like a curse, like a genetic curse, because there are bloodlines where free martins who will naturally have more free martins. And it's, I mean, I don't want to get into this whole thing. I've talked about this a lot on my channel, but I just think it's crazy how, I mean, and that's the main point of this video. End times signs that nobody wants to talk about. That people just want to pretend like it's not a thing.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Yeah, just any trans...
Devious Chillster with 50 bits. I'm honestly just surprised Hans believes in the Chinese. True.
Investigation channel by now, that's been around for years and years and years. How have they not opened up their eyes when they're looking outside and noticed that it is all around you?
Because it's not, and because people who do transvestigation videos are psychos. It's because they're like loony conspiracy people who see patterns everywhere where they aren't.
And not just on the TV. And it's because the answer is that they're a part of it. They're a gatekeeper. Okay, next topic. The skies. When I first woke up, even before I understood the whole skulls and bones thing and the extent of it, I knew that the sun was brighter than it used to be. I knew that the moon was brighter than it used to be.
No, it's not. You have no evidence for that.
People know about blatant weather manipulation. This is an image from today. Like, there's no reason to have clouds today. It's such a hot, bright, sunny day, but we get these messy, cloudy days.
Okay? There's enough moisture in the atmosphere to have clouds? Just because it's hot doesn't mean that there won't be clouds? Hans, no. You don't understand how anything works. Just because it's hot outside doesn't mean there are gonna be clouds. In fact, if it's hot outside, then water's gonna evaporate and go into the sky, and some of it'll come and turn into clouds.
But it doesn't even look like clouds, it's just smeary mess. And it's because they're trying to keep the temperature down. The sun...
What? Hans, there's all sorts of different kinds of clouds. We got your stratus, your cumulonimbus, we got your cirrus, your cirrocumulus, your altacumulus. There are all kinds of different clouds, Hans. Jesus.
The sun is so bright. The sun is white now. In the 90s it was yellow. Yeah.
Hans, in the 90s, did you do a lot of staring at the sun? Because that would explain a lot, I think.
Yes, I was one of those kids that would look at the sun because people told you not to, but I would look at it and it wasn't a big deal. You cannot look at the sun nowadays.
You shouldn't have been looking at the sun in the 90s, Hans! Don't look at the sun, you idiot! What? You're gonna hurt your eyes! And that's always been the case!
It's not even physically possible, it's too bright. But in the 90s, you could look at the sun, and it wasn't a big deal.
Hans. No. You should never have looked at the sun, Hans. That will damage your eyes.
I've brought
Ugh.
up before how sun gazing is a thing. Today, nobody can sun gaze anymore.
You shouldn't. Who sun gazes? Don't do that. Like crazy
Nothing
people
funny
do
about
that.
fools of
You're gonna
capitalism.
hurt your eyes. Devious Chillster with 50 bits. Are we sure Hans isn't a simulacra? Because this dude literally cannot be real. Yeah, that's probably laughing uncontrollably. Hannah might die of laughter. I'm gonna say weather control, because he said clouds are weather control. The gay agenda, because, you know, he thinks the CIA is creating, like, trans people or something.
You would burn your eyes. And so, I guess it's worth pointing out, you know how the whole Donald Trump thing, they try to make Donald Trump seem idiotic, like looking at the sun with the solar eclipse. That's like just a huge thing that I remember. The incessant, never look at the sun, never look at the sun.
Because you'll damage your eyes because of the direct exposure to UV radiation, Hans. That's why sunglasses exist. Sunglasses have existed much longer than before the 90s. You know that, right?
Never look at the sun. People telling you that. And in the 90s, it really wasn't a big deal.
Yes, it was. Let's find PSAs. Let's see if we can find PSAs on not looking at the sun.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Dr. Gamble says, and now he has 10/20 vision. No, I've seen that. Peer pressure.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Devious Chillster with 50 bits. Hans, I can spot a trance from a mile away. Also, Hans, stare directly into the sun. It doesn't hurt at all.
It's nighttime in a kitchen just
I've
like
seen
yours.
this one.
All is quiet. Or is it? The North American house hippo is found throughout Canada and the eastern United States. House hippos are very timid creatures and are rarely seen, but they will defend their territory if provoked. They come out at night to search for food, water, and materials for their nests. The favorite foods of the house hippo are chips, raisins, and the crumbs from peanut butter on toast. They build their nests in bedroom closets, using lost mittens, dryer lint, and bits of string. The nests have to be very soft and warm. House hippos sleep about 16 hours a day.
That looked really real, but you knew it couldn't be true, didn't you? That's why it's good to think about what you're watching on TV and ask questions. Kind of.
I think Hans needs to hear that one. Lots of songs about not looking at the sun. They usually tell you during eclipses because most people know not to look at the sun normally, but during an eclipse people will think it's okay. It's not. You gotta use one of those special things.
Eyes, I have perfect vision. I don't wear glasses. I have perfect vision, and I looked at the sun when I was young, so there we go. School tells you a bunch of BS. They probably knew that the sun was going to get brighter, and that's why they told people never look at it.
No.
But nowadays, you just physically can't.
Okay, probably because you're older and you've damaged your eyes already with looking at the sun so much, you absolute moron.
You know, the human body, God designed the human body perfectly. If you try to look at something that's too bright, you know it's too bright, and you look away. The sun didn't used to be like that.
Again, Hans, if this is like an Andy Kaufman-esque character, almost brilliant. You're still awful, and you're tricking a lot of vulnerable people into believing this bullshit, but, like, fucking brilliant if this is, like, an intentional bit.
You used to be able to look at it. And you can even see kind of a ring around the sun. I never, ever, ever saw a ring around the sun, ever, until the
Dr. Gamble with 20 bits probably still has the after image in his eyes.
mid-2000s. And so I was already pretty old by that point. So I'll just say the first 18 years of my life, never saw one of these things. But now it's all the time, and it's weather manipulation. People don't want to talk about it, though. I guess here I'll bring up a story about a neighbor of mine. I have these neighbors, these old neighbors, and they live in their garden. They are outside in their garden all day, basically every day when the weather's nice. And so they see the sky all the time, and they've probably been seeing the sky for decades, and they're much older than me, so they have even more memory of what the sky used to look like.
Hans, the sky looks different to you because you've destroyed your retinas with looking into the sun. Hans, why don't you understand?
But just the programming and cognitive dissonance and the truth being too painful. The truth is too painful and too...
You know what else is painful, Hans? Staring into the sun!
Scary for most people. You know, you can't handle the truth. And a lot of people can't. So the point of the story, I just remember overhearing one of my neighbors and a jet, you know, who knows if it was even a drone. Probably was a drone. Over my house, I get a lot of these really low flying. They look like an airplane, but they're flying so low. You can just tell by how fast the chem moves across the sky. That's really low. Anyways, one of these passes by.
Hans, you're paranoid. They're airplanes. They're not drones.
And I just hear my neighbor say, "Oh, what a beautiful day. Look at that jet stream." And I just like shake my head. How deluded are you that you're...
Hans, you're the pot. Meet the kettle. Don't call the kettle black. You don't get to call other people delusional. You're like the king of delusion.
You're this old, and you see this disgusting sky, and you're talking about how beautiful it is. It's just a complete... It shows you that the truth is too painful for people. They can't even believe that there's weather manipulation going on, because that's too painful of a truth, I guess.
No, it's because there's no evidence that's happening, Hans. You are literally delusional. Please, seek help. This is like paranoid schizophrenia.
And to me, it's just so weird that you could be that old but not remember. How do you not remember that this didn't used to happen? I'm only 30, and I remember that this didn't used to happen.
You're misremembering.
How are you 70-something and you can't remember? And it's kind of interesting because this person is like going senile too. I wonder if all of this, people living with these people lying to themselves, I wonder if it makes them go crazy, makes them go loony sometimes, that they delude themselves. Anyways, one of my big awakening moments was, I can tell the sun is brighter than it used to be. I can tell the moon is brighter than it used to be. And I looked online for other people. Nobody wants to talk about this. This scares people. If you...
No, it doesn't scare anyone, Hans, because it's not true. The reason no one is talking about it is because it's not true.
try to talk to people about this, it scares them. I try to tell some people...
Hans, if you tell someone in public about this and they look scared, it's not because they're scared of the event you're talking about, because that doesn't happen. They're scared because a clearly delusional adult man is talking to them in public about his delusions. Have some social awareness and understand you're freaking people out because you're crazy.
I'll tell them, hey, come outside, come look at this. And their first reaction to me is like, well, I don't want to come out if it's like scary. I've actually had people in my life tell that to me before. They don't want to see it. And I think if you have a lot of faith, if you know that this place sucks and it's going to burn and this place isn't for us anyways and our life is in the kingdom, I don't think these things are scary if you have that perspective. To me, it's not scary. None of these things scare me. I could see the firmament open up and I'm not going to be scared. I will never have been that excited in my life when I see the firmament open up.
There's no such thing as the firmament.
Okay, but again, this video is about, these are end times things that nobody wants to talk about. The moon illusion. It's not an illusion. Well, it kind of is. It's an optical illusion because the moon is optical. The moon, however, the moon is a hologram. It is.
God damn it. Do I have the moon as a hologram on here? I don't, but I know that's one of them. So someone check your sheet to see if you have the moon as a hologram.
It really is. It's a projection. When you see the moon, you are seeing a projected image of...
No, you're not. You're seeing a satellite of the Earth. You're seeing a natural satellite. It's the moon. It's the Earth's only moon. That's what you're seeing.
Of something that's inside the firmament. The moon and the sun are up past the...
You have the sun as a hologram? Oh, we don't have the moon? No. If it says the sun, it says the sun.
Firmament. They're in the firmament. So when you... And everybody can see that the moon that we see in the sky is really close. You're seeing a projected image. It's like looking through a microscope. It's like looking through a pair of binoculars. Same idea. Same concept. When you look through a pair of binoculars, you're not actually looking at the image, or you're not looking at the thing that you're looking at. You're seeing a projected image.
I mean, if you're going that specific, then we don't really see anything. When you see something, you're seeing particles, you're seeing photons that have bounced off that object and are now hitting your, like, optic nerve, or hitting your, the thing in the back of your eyeball that sends impulses through your optic nerve to the part of your brain that deciphers it. You don't directly see anything. What you're seeing are photons that have bounced off that object. And when you're using something like a telescope or a binoculars or whatever, you are changing the focal length and getting light focused, photons focused from different angles into and focusing them on your eyes in such a way that you can see photons from a further distance. Because like in binoculars or a telescope, you have, instead of, in your eyeball, you have a whole, really, really tiny, you have this giant thing that's taking in tons of light, and then it's focusing it down into a smaller point so it can be registered by your eye. It's still seeing it, Hans. As much as anything is seeing, that is seeing. You're just using a device to collect more photons into your field of view.
On a lens. So in the same way. That's why we have these illusions.
I agree, Hans. Look into the sun with some binoculars and see what happens.
Where near the horizon, the moon is big. And I don't want to go back now, but I actually think in one of the Quran end times things,
He pronounces Quran very strangely. Like, it's not crayon. It's not like a crayon, like a Crayola crayon. It's a Quran.
it was talking about the moon being even bigger. And I just wanted to tell a personal story. This was about a month ago. It must not have been this last full moon, but the one before it.
I'm gonna skip ahead because I
was
think we all
driving,
are on the same
and
page about the
you
moon
remember when
existing.
This is just another thing that if you try to bring this up to people, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk about it. And,
Yeah, because it's like psychotic. People don't like to talk to psychotic people.
and it's because it's either somebody who it scares them, the truth, or you're talking to a wolf, and they don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk about it. Okay, so that's a big one. The skies. They didn't used to look like this. The moon illusion. Do you remember when the skies used to look like this?
The sky still looks like that on certain days. Do you ever go outside, Hans? The weather's going to differ from day to day. There are plenty of skies that are still very blue and very clear.
This was just an interesting comment from a wolf. The bee girl doesn't know how lucky she is. She found a whole group of bee people in just one day. Some people live their whole life on the outside. They're kind of talking about, being on the outside. That's like not being in the club. The big club. It's a big club. And look at this, the response to it. I thank God for that. Honor the lone wolf, not the sheep. What? Like, who is these people's God talking like that?
They're talking about the Christian God, Hans. They're still talking about the same God you believe in.
Vinyl Diary 666. They all surround... What I want to show you with this, it's another end times. I don't know exactly the verse, but I just know that this is a sign of end times, is that you're surrounded by blatant Satanists, unapologetic Satanists that are more than willing to conspire to deceive the whole world. And it's a big club. The first thing that they're going to do is they're going to jump out of the woodwork. What? You're telling me that there's thousands and thousands of people in on these lies, and how do they keep... Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. And they keep it secret, because that's what they do. That's what they're good at. And, yeah, that's it. They really do all surround you. So here, I had to scroll down so far through the comments. It's like they were hiding this...
Hans, do you understand that when you make a music video like this, you adjust the coloring? I guarantee they jacked up the saturation levels. That's what it looks like. That's why you have these vivid greens and vivid yellows and a very vivid blue. They've turned up the color saturation for the music video.
Old comment. I remember that this used to be the top comment on this video, but now I had to scroll down really, really far to get to this. Is it just me, or does the sky never look like that anymore? I remember as a kid seeing plenty of those beautiful blue days. Well,
You're misremembering. You're misremembering how the sky looked.
we're in end times. It's just not going to be like that again until this place gets burned up. Somebody shared this. They talk about this
Do
stuff.
I think Hans would ever agree to a debate? I've talked with him. I've offered. He does not seem receptive at all, and it's very sad. If you'd like to ask him, he bans everyone who mentions me in his comments. But if you want to say, like, hey, I want to do a debate, there's the link to this video.
All the time, in the songs, in the movies, they talk about it all the time. You're surrounded by people that know the secret, but they're bound by oaths that they will never break. I've never seen anybody break these oaths, talk about the Orange 33 Club. Oh, I used to be a part of it. I've never heard that, ever.
Because it doesn't exist. Because these are your delusions.
But look at these lyrics. Pretty interesting. It's by some Hungarian trance group, I don't know. But it's called Everything is a Lie. Everything is a lie. I should have seen the signs. They love talking about the signs. Do you remember in the 90s, a huge song, I Saw the Sign? Everybody loved that song. And it
Yeah? And? It's not about conspiracy theories, Hans.
was all about seeing the signs. The hand signs everywhere. The orange. If you're not looking, you won't see it. Everything's a lie. I've fallen into myth. The myth,
I'm skipping ahead
this-
because I'm about ready to close
never
out.
seen them. Brady, and I used to think it was you. It all At first, I'd wonder what hex I was under. What did I do to be so different? Then I discovered some others like me. Wonder no longer. Together we're stronger. Be true to yourself. That's what you must be. And this whole music video was all about witches, and just the point of this is when you wake up and you start seeing the hand signs, you should be able to see that it surrounds you. It all surrounds you. My mom, who is this kind of like local handler, and it's an umbrella. It's not a rabbit hole, it's an umbrella. It's far reaching, it's over all of Earth. Rich, poor, these people are everywhere. It's a big club, and yeah, so the story I was going to tell about my mom, she has this painting in her house, and the painting says, "We all surround you." And it's this dark imagery, and I used to think it was something about like, oh, gay people or something. No. No.
Again, Hans, what you're describing is a symptom of paranoid schizophrenia. Please seek help. If not for you, for your children and your wife. Because one of these days you're gonna snap, and I swear you're gonna hurt them. So please get help.
No, we all surround you. It's this, I don't know, if you want to call it the Illuminati, if you want to call it, I don't know. I don't think that there's just one name. It's just the Babylonian, the beast system, 30 just feelings that I've always had. Just because you're famous doesn't make you somehow special. But have you noticed that people around you don't act that way? People really do idolize these famous people, and people really do think...
Some people do. A lot of people like celebrities or find it interesting to look into their lives, but I don't think most people think celebrities are better than anyone else.
think that they can become like that. I've known people that went away to LA to go get famous,
There's nothing
and it's
funny
like,
about the tools of
why would you
capitalism.
even do that? And
Hannah
it's
is your idol. Oof. Get better idols.
because they're a part of this thing. So many people they're a part of it.
I look more paranoid than him. Is it the tinfoil hat? Because that'd probably do it.
People be like, it's all a coincidence. Yeah, the people who tell you it's all a coincidence, they're a part of it. Hear no evil, see no evil.
Did someone post a link to this stream in the comments? That'd
Get
be
famous.
hilarious. Let me look. Sort by new? I don't see anything unless they already deleted your comment.
And it's like, why would you even do that? And it's because they're a part of this thing. So many people they're a part of it.
Yeah, Hans has kids and he homeschools them.
People be like, it's all a coincidence. Yeah, the people who tell you it's all a coincidence,
Hans, these are all just random hand things people are doing. They aren't even the same one. Doing this is not a crazy, novel thing to do. Doing this isn't a crazy, novel thing to do. People have hands. People have faces. They do things with the two. It doesn't mean anything.
they are a part of it. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, with these fake monkey suits. This is how they operate. They don't talk about it. The first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. It's an allegory for the inverts.
No, it's not. In fact, Hans, I think you entirely missed the point of that in Fight Club. When Tyler Durden says to the group, the first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. And the second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. He means the opposite, Hans. He's trying to get them to recruit more people into Fight Club so we can start Project Mayhem. He's like telling a group of men who have come to this secret club to be angsty and like break society's rules, and he's immediately giving them rules because he knows they're going to break those rules. Do you not get it? Because that's the point of the rules of Fight Club.
And this, I just want to really bring to home the point of it's all around you. It's not just the TV screen. You could turn off the TV, you could get rid of your newspaper, and that doesn't
Newspaper? What is this, 1982, Hans? Jesus. Maybe get a tablet.
mean that you're escaped from Satan, the satanic system. It's all around you. Earth is Satan's earth right now, and they're in your family. That's what I want to
Would
show
it
with
be
this.
legal to start a GoFundMe for Hans's psychiatric help? I mean, there's nothing illegal about it, but, like, he would never accept the money or use it to get help, so it would be pointless. I don't think that would be a good idea at all.
This is probably some of the hardest Bible verses for people to accept. People don't want to accept this. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother, the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all.
Let's not be too hard on newspapers right now from a newspaper reporter. Hey, print media's great in a digital form. I read stuff from, like, the New York Times or the Washington Post on the internet. I just don't think most people want to read these things in physical paper form at this point.
Of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. And yeah, it's an endurance race. And we just have to wait for Jesus Christ and be ready. We need to be ready. You have to repent for all the bad things that you did. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that a lot of the things that I've done that I regret now, it sucks that I wouldn't have done them had I known the truth. And it sucks that I was surrounded by gatekeepers and liars my whole life and people that hated me and wanted crabs in a bucket that wanted to see me fail.
Again, Hans, this sounds like paranoid, delusional behavior. Thinking that everyone around you is out to get you is a sign of, like, paranoid schizophrenia. That's not normal thinking.
But at the end of the day, I did have free will, and a part of me knew that things that I was doing wasn't right. So the blame's still on me. But we have a gift through Jesus Christ. We can repent, and we can be forgiven of those things. And one of the best gifts that God is going to give us is that even God is not going to remember our sins. It's, you know how Men in Black, they like to take these things and put them in movies. The little instrument that they have, the light.
The neuralizer, it's called.
They use a light. That's probably a clue there. They use a light.
No, it's just a visual cue as to what is happening. You get it. There's a flash, and then they don't remember something. It's a clever tool and a visual signal that someone has just had their memory erased in the film. It doesn't mean it's linked to a real thing.
Light to erase people's memories. And that really is going to happen. And I don't think, we're not going to forget who we are. We're going to finally understand who we really are. And it's beautiful. It's the best gift.
Hans, we're basically, if you're talking about identity, we are a conglomeration of our memories and self-image. And if you erased someone's memories, who are they? Right?
That we won't remember this place. At least the evil parts of it and our sins, it's going to all go away in a blink of an eye. So praise God for that. Mark chapter 13. And as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples saith unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here. And Jesus answering said unto him, Seest thou these great buildings?
Danny
There shall
Sume
not
says
be
a
left
free
one stone
Martin.
upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately. Now I mentioned it briefly with the Quran thing, admit the truth. And I think that it's mainly the
I'm
Satanists
skipping
that
to the
run this
end.
place. They're going to probably use blue beam technology and the TV and media and all their players on the ground, all the play pretenders that go along with all the hoaxes. They're all going to pretend that aliens are invaded. They've written themselves into a corner. There's no other way that they can play this off.
Hans, if the rapture or apocalypse or whatever religious end times you think are going to happen were to happen, how would the government have the ability to cover it up? They wouldn't. So what are you talking about?
They're going to say it's aliens, and the duped will probably buy it. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. And so I pray that I get taken away in rapture. I do believe in rapture, and I do believe that the elect, certain people, are going to get to go away when Jesus comes. And I don't know what we're going to do in the meantime while people on earth have to deal with tribulation. But I just think of the last years, the tribulation, it's people's last chance to reject the mark of the beast. But I believe that God in his mercy is going to let some of us escape that. And I think that's mostly it. We have to watch. We have to watch. So be ready. Make sure that you have enough oil in your lamp, and just spend every day repenting. And yeah, be ready. God bless everyone.
Oh, Hans, you need help so bad. And the worst thing about something like paranoid schizophrenia and something like that is you can't tell someone like that, like Hans, you need help. Because, of course, that plays into their delusion that people are out to get them. It becomes part of their delusional state. So he's going to say, like, oh, you just want to brainwash me, or you want to take me, you know what I mean? You can't get through to them because they're already thinking so irrationally. There's nothing you can say to them that's going to convince them outright that they are delusional and that what they believe is a paranoid delusion, because if they were able to determine that what they're saying and believing are paranoid delusions, then they'd be able to seek help out for themselves. So it really comes down to, hopefully at some point, if this continues to get worse for Hans, I hope his family or someone close to him get someone to institutionalize him and get him some help, because he could do for some medication, that's for sure. But, you know, it is what it is.